So here we are in Oxford, in New Zealand. This is my home, Wisteria Cottage, and I'd just like to welcome all my family and friends and Facebook friends on The Crazy Gardener. Because if you're watching this on YouTube, a small miracle has been achieved. Because you're speaking with a lady who has not managed to work out how to upload credits to her phone. So this will be quite a thing if I can do this. We've been here a year now, and you can see these trees are being hacked back. When we first came here, they were right out onto the road. We were in so much shade that through the middle of winter, we got 2 hours of sun from about 11 till about 1 in the afternoon. And so the trees are going, and we'll replace them with a new fence and a selection of deciduous trees. So we have the privacy and the spring flowering and the autumn colours, and then in winter, when we really could do with the extra sunlight, we won't be completely covered in shade. So you can see the height of these trees. Yeah, in winter we were completely in shade. It was not cool. So our house here was, was built in the 1940s. It's gone through a number of reincarnations, as all old houses have. And it's just a bloomin' treat to live here and have this big veranda. I've kind of named the place Wisteria Cottage because we have a wisteria here and on the other side of the veranda. We got a really late frost, so I didn't get much in the way of flowers this year. When we came here, the garden was absolutely covered in periwinkle, ivy and limonium plant. So there's been something like over 30 car trailer loads of branches, rubbish trees, the prunings from these trees. You can see that's what it's always like when we came. So we're slowly hacking away, and that's those trees will be completely removed. Yeah, so that was that. The other thing is I've transplanted a mountain of roses. When we came here, this area was hedges everywhere. They were triangular hedges. The reason they were triangular hedges is the gentleman that was here mowed over the base of them with a lawnmower, and the top of them he just attacked with the hedging shears. So they were very narrow at the base and very tall at the top. And when it rained or blew, they leant over at precarious angles. So I've removed them all. This area here, which is still not exactly shaded, and without shade, there was, I think, 5 trees taken out of this one area, and I've planted in there most of those perennials, I'd say, and all of these New Zealand flaxes. Part of the problem when we came here, I brought with me over 300 plants in pots. So a lot of them had to get in the ground fairly quickly. The place is tree roots wherever you dig. Everywhere you dig, it's tree roots. And so digging is a mission. So I tend to want to get things in the ground before they get too big, because digging big holes is a real mission. This little wee magnolia here and this tiny little garden really was put in because I desperately needed to get some things in the ground, and where I plan to have a big garden is where these trees will come out and deciduous trees will go in. So what else? Yeah, I've made this path, well, the border here was much narrower. Where the trees are was where the garden border ended. And in the depths of those trees, and you can see just how tall they are, we had roses in there, and red hot pokers in there, and a number of other things that really don't like dry, dense shade. So, agapanthus, there was agapanthus in there. So they've all been dug out and been given new homes. My hostas collection is doing well. They all came in quite small pots and they're all thriving. The Ligularia has never looked so good. Our previous place was in a really windy spot and very exposed. So they have in 1 year quadrupled in size. I split them up and its friend is just over here under the pear tree in the back there. Yeah, so they're doing really well. They've enjoyed this this spring. Evidently, the east coast of South Island has had 4 times its usual rainfall for this time of year. So in many ways I'm quite pleased, because all the things that are in here, I want them to become hardy, but that first year or two they can do with the extra drinks of water. And they certainly have had extra drinks of water this season. The reason these stakes are here is we have some old gates that were at the front, and we're going to cut them down and turn that area into an archway, so that we, adjacent to our courtyard garden, we have a little wee sitting area. That's the theory. So through there is our little courtyard. Obviously we have barbecues in here. This area had only really been used for the wheelie bins and the rubbish tins. They live further away from the house now, and that area's our courtyard. Once again, this area you couldn't actually see through here. There was numerous trees and more triangular hedges. This little border here, there was probably 3 trees in there and a big triangular hedge. The instant I removed them, a mountain of hostas popped up. So they've been sat there very patiently, surviving but not thriving. Yes, the hostas I've brought, but all those hellebores have popped up all by their own accord. The area where this dogwood came out, there was more trees in there. Another triangular hedge. So this has all been done in the last year. I know there's lots more we can do and will be doing. So that's looking back to where I hope to make a little wee, sort of like a reading corner, and have an archway going through into the next part of the garden. This area gets really quite sunny. So my fig tree that had to live for 2 years in a pot has now got a spot. So it's pretty happy.